Right, hi there, it's Dermot here, and just introduce myself. I'm an addiction counselor and a recovery coach, and I work with people in early recovery from addictions from alcohol, drugs, and gambling. And what it is, we do find that people do struggle with the change that they need to make in recovery. A lot of different changes, physical changes, emotional, mental, and so kind of focus on, I suppose, character defects, what character defects to look out for, dealing with feelings and emotions as they come up and how to accept your feelings and emotions, and also mindset, things like core beliefs. And that's what I'm going to cover today is core beliefs, or as you could call it, mindset. So I'll go ahead with that. So core beliefs, and they come from what we call default thoughts or default thinking, um, or negative automatic thoughts is another name for them. And just to introduce what are core beliefs, so we'll cover that, what core beliefs are, identifying your core beliefs, challenging your core beliefs, talking with someone else, and flipping over to the positive, and then just summarizing it all up for you. Right, so what are core beliefs? Well, core beliefs are fixed statements and ideas that we have about ourselves. So, as I said, it is like a mindset. It's how you see yourself, how you relate yourself to the world around you, how you place yourself in that world. Do you put yourself on a pedestal or do you put yourself down below? It's just where you're at internally. So it is an emotion as well as a thought and as well as a physical sensation. So as I say, how we feel about ourselves. So do you feel good? Do you feel confident, or do you feel less than that? Do you feel below confident, under par, and underachiever? Feel that you're not good enough? It helps us make sense of the world. So it's how you see yourself in the world, how you perceive your world. Do you see the world as a scary place or a dangerous place, or do you see the world as something to explore or something to learn from? It just depends on your perception, as I say, of how you see yourself, how you see the world around you. If your core belief is low or if it's very negative, you will see the world as a scary place, a dangerous place. And especially if you've come from addiction, this is how your outlook will be. Our core beliefs are formed in childhood and then they develop as we grow, as we experience life on life's terms, and so to say. So, we're all born with little bundles of joy, little packages of love, as they say. But as we grow, we get influenced by our families, we get influenced by peers, influenced by teachers, by society, so much, everything around us. And like, as you know, when you're very young, when you're very small, you're just like a sponge, you're just sucking in information, you're learning at a rapid rate. So everything is going in and everything is going in quite literally. It goes straight to your subconscious mind and sits there. So if you're a young child and you're told that you're stupid or don't be doing this, or you're being scolded all the time, you will automatically make out yourself to be a bad person or a negative person or not a good enough person, and that's where it will stay. So how we see ourselves, again, in that whole essence, how do I see myself in my world around me, within my family, within, society, my peers, schools, etc., and how we judge what we do. So again, if you have a negative core belief or a low core belief, you will judge things. You won't look at things and say, well, I think I did well. You'd first look at the negative and say, well, I don't think I did good enough. And then how we view the future. And in most cases, if you're coming from a place of addiction or a place of abuse or a place of trauma, you will view the future as being bleak, or you will be anxious. And that's how you will see it. You won't see it as being something bright and rosy and something to look forward to. It'll be something to be very wary of and be afraid of. So your negative core beliefs, what happens then is they become default automatic thoughts or negative automatic thoughts, which then lead to negative. So I'll give you an example of that. If your core belief is nobody likes me, sorry, your negative automatic thought or your default thought will be no one listens to me, no one has any time for me, I'm always to blame, I'm overlooked, no one laughs at my jokes, I don't have a say, these are going to be strange, etc. So you all have an example of that. So these negative thoughts or default thoughts become underlying assumptions, so you believe them. Although it's only in your head, you start to believe in yourself, you start to believe in what you're telling yourself, and that just reinforces the already set core belief and makes it even stronger inside of you. Your negative thoughts become negative emotions. So how you think, then you start to feel. A big one would be example paranoia, how you act, how you react, how you see things, how you feel about things. For example, you could be walking down the street and your friend's walking on the other side of the street and he passes you or she passes you and doesn't acknowledge you. And the first thing you think is, oh my God, what have I done wrong to them? So the paranoia starts. I must have offended them somehow. Where, in reality, you don't know. You don't know. You don't have a clue of why that person didn't acknowledge you back. So to jump to conclusions, so to say, or to jump to assumptions is wrong. But if you have a negative core belief or a negative mindset, that's exactly what you will do. The negative emotions lead to physical sensations, so you feel it inside yourself. Most times you feel it in your gut or in your heart, or it can be anywhere really. A pit in your stomach. You can come out in headaches. You can have other aches and pains. Hives can break out. Tearful. Those aches and pains do lead to ill physical health because your immune system does drop. When you're psychologically and emotionally in a bad way, your immune system will drop and you'll be more vulnerable to picking up colds and flus and viruses that are going around. Then that makes you worry more and that just gets the whole cycle going again. So identifying your core beliefs. So we use what we call the so what method, and that's to break it down. That's to dig in deep and see where they're coming from. So if you take a negative thought, again, you ask yourself, what's that thought in my head? And so what if this was true? What would this mean about me? And you keep repeating that question. You keep digging until you find your core belief. And your core belief is identified by the way, not how you only feel or think, but it's congruence between, everything, your feelings, your thoughts, and your physical sensation. So an example of that, if the negative thought is I wasn't sent an invite, okay, so what if this was true? What would this mean about me? That they don't value me, I'm always overlooked. And again, so what if this was true? What would this mean about me? No one cares about me, I might as well not exist. Again, so what if this is true? What would this mean about me? And you jump to the conclusion that I'm worthless. So this happens so fast because it's happening at a subconscious level. You don't get an invite, and the first thing you feel is I'm worthless, nobody likes me. That's why they didn't invite me. But again, like the paranoia, it could be a situation where, maybe the postman missed you. Maybe they forgot to write you an invite. It could be something very, very simple. But again, you look at it and you internalize it and you suddenly make an assumption, I didn't get an invite because I'm worthless. A second example, I only came second in the race. And again, what if this was true? What would this mean about me? I should have done better, trained harder. Yes, maybe if that be the case. But again, what if this was true? What would this mean about me? No, I should not have even bothered entering the race in the first place. And again, what if this was true? What would this mean about me? I'm a loser. So again, come second, I'm a loser. And this can go back as well to childhood, to maybe the way you were brought up. There's no second place. It's either first or nothing. And many people are brought up that way. You have to be a top A student, or you have to always be first in the race. You have to, have to be an overachiever, and that can kind of backfire in a way because if you don't get first place, rather than saying, "Well, pat myself on the back, well done, at least I got second place or I got silver," it's no, it's not good enough. I'm a loser. I'm not good enough. So rather than just saying, "Well, I had a bad race and I just didn't get the where I was going," the first thing you do is you say, "I'm not good enough." And then you tend to give up after that. So identifying your own core beliefs can assist you in understanding why you have default thoughts, okay, so negative thoughts about yourself and also your abilities. Identifying your own core beliefs can assist you in understanding, why you have and repeat self-defeating behavior, doing the same thing over and over again, and a lot of times not even realizing you're doing it. It's on the subconscious level. Identifying your own core beliefs can assist you in understanding why you might feel negative, feeling negative all the time. Just have that kind of pit in your stomach and just that dislike of yourself. Identifying your own core beliefs can assist you in understanding why you might have poor health, because again, like as I said, in the whole physiology thing, from your emotions can create physical sickness. But once you have this awareness, you can get out of this grasp. So once you see that, you can say, well, this is the reason why I am this. This is going on for me, or the reason why I am the way I am. You can start to make those changes. So challenging your core beliefs, and again, that can be done. So we've begun to identify what our core beliefs are using the so what method, breaking it down, investigating. We can begin to challenge them, and you look at the bigger picture, whole story. Like as I said with the paranoid thing, maybe the person didn't see you. It's as simple as that. You were walking down the street, they walked past you, they didn't see you. And if you can keep that conclusion in your head and say, well, that's probably what it was. They didn't see me. Not that I'd done something to them or had hurt them in some way. So you look at the evidence that does not support the thought that you're thinking. So that's the first thing. No, maybe they just didn't see me. Maybe it's not that I did something to them. Okay, you need to focus on the evidence that does not support our core belief. And again, that's what the core belief is saying. The negative part is saying to us, the reason why they walk past you is you did something wrong because you're coming from a negative place. You've got to say switch it around to a more positive place. And again, as I say, playing detective here, leaving no stone unturned, as doubt can backfire this process. So what we're saying is keep an open mind, and say, well, either or. I don't know. I don't know what the outcome was. I don't know why that person passed me. I don't know why I didn't get the invite. It's not that because nobody likes me. Again, maybe it was a situation that the postman just forgot to drop it off, or it could be it could be a whole pile of different reasons. At the end of the day, how important is it really? So once you believe it to be true was only ever created by you, thus can be changed by you. So remember that a lot of things that we create, internalize, or whatever you want to call it, come from us. It's our interpretation or our perception of what is going on. So if we're in a negative light, our perception and our interpretation will be negative. So the first conclusion will be, oh, a negative thing has happened. That's why this has happened. So, you have to challenge that and say, well, wait a minute, I don't know that. Cannot be positive. Cannot change it around. And that's what you need to be doing. You need to be juggling these around rather than just going what you thought or what you think or how you feel. Juggle it. Every problem perceived, or every perceived problem was indirectly created by you. You attracted it. So every solution to every problem can be created by you as well. So, you have the solution to your problems. We all do. In most cases, we can fix what's going on, especially if it's coming from inside with us. And the best way to do that, just staying in the present moment, not going back or too far forward. An example, if your core belief is, I'm a bad person, I'm always annoying people, I'm getting into trouble, I'm always being nagged, told off, people avoid me, I can't do anything right, take action. Don't just sit there and think, oh, am I or aren't I? Take action, take a record, or a journal, whatever it is, on your phone, you name it. Just keep a record of every positive thing. Now, not the negative, because your focus is set on the negative anyway. Your mind will be focusing or looking for the negative. Your subconscious mind is like a Google search engine. For example, you type in the word and it'll find so many different, I suppose, variances of it in the search. And it's the same, it'll be looking for the negativity. So you think negative, it'll go straight and reinforce that negative thought. So what we're saying is change that to the positive. Make a record of the good things that happen in your day, not the bad things. So you're changing your whole perception. Okay. So an example of that, if you're struggling with what is good, simple, very small little things. It could be a sunrise in the morning makes you feel good. Another driver lets you in, somebody makes you a cup of tea or a cup of coffee at work or at home or whatever it is, you smile and say hello to someone, or someone smiles and says hello to you, you feel good, and that's the changes. And they're small changes, and that's where it does start small, but start to keep a record. You start on day one and keep going, and you will start to see a change, a shift thinking in your own feeling as well, and you will start to see the results. So as I say, in that sense, the results speak for themselves, and positive things do happen to us every day. all the time. We just have to keep our eye out for it. And in this diary exercise, you have to keep repeating it for each of the core beliefs. So if you feel that I am a bad person, or I am not good enough, kind of look at things that counteract that. What are you good at? What am I good at? What can I do that's good? What have I done? Maybe that's good. And look at all the positive things that you can and have done in the past or would like to do. Once we are aware again of, I suppose, the change, challenge those negative thoughts, change them around to positive thoughts, then what will happen is we will not so much get rid of the old negative core belief, but we'll replace it with a more positive new core belief. It's like a reprogramming, really. And once our core belief is positive, the negative thoughts will be replaced by more positive thoughts, so our outlook will be more positive, so we'll be attracted to more positivity. It's a process, it takes time, yes it does, but if you keep working at it, you will start to see results. The best way to do this, is talking with other people. And the reason by this is sometimes, even though, we're working away and we're doing our own diaries and our own journals, and we're kind of reinforcing this, and we're challenging our thinking and challenging our feelings and all that, you're still going to have days where you're going to feel very doubtful. You're going to have good days and bad days. That's life. And some days you'll be dragged back down and think all the negativity coming back again. And then, it can knock you really off. So it's always important to bounce things off other people. And you're not being egotistical if you're saying to someone, how do you see me? Explain to them what it is you're trying to do. Explain to them that you're trying to change your core belief or trying to change your mindset, and you want the help for them. Okay, so it's, as I say, challenge your own thoughts, challenge your negative thoughts, get people to tell you how they see you, not so much how you see yourself. And you'll be pleasantly surprised that people probably do see you in a better light than you see yourself at times. And it's not that they're trying to, build you up or anything, just say to be honest, because that's how people probably do see you, but you just don't see that yourself. So doing that through peer groups, and they're the best to do that through, through an aftercare group or an AA group, one-to-one sessions with maybe a counselor or a therapist, talking with friends, talking with family. They can help immensely because they know you, they see you all the time, and they are looking out for the best, for your best, and trying to encourage you. And then flipping over to the positive. So, in a sense, switching the negative mindset to a more positive mindset, we have to take a bit of action. We have to kind of think about how we do this. So if you keep saying to yourself, I will not be negative, that'll only attract more negativity. Like I said before, your mind is like a search engine. It's, as soon as you say the word negativity, boom, it'll find it, and it'll bounce that back of all the things that it thinks you're negative about. So if you say, I will not be negative, you're attracting negativity in your mindset. So, what we need to do, you reinforce statements like not, can't, won't, don't. They're also very, very detrimental to you, because when you start using don't, can't, won't, it triggers that again, triggers that negative statement. So you need to think what you're thinking and think about what you're saying. Now, again, it takes time to do this. It's not going to happen overnight. You can't just change your mind like a light switch. It takes practice, but you have to try and be as conscious as you possibly can. So even changing your vocabulary, I'm a positive person, or I have a lot of positive attributes. And again, that sends a message into your subconscious mind, looking for the positive, and then the positive will kick back, and you'll remember positive things that you have about yourself, and then you can reinforce that. Again, as I say, the negative mind will probably be telling you, oh, don't be doing that. That's not working. That's no good. You're too stupid for that. There'll be a little war game that go on inside your head, but persevere, keep going. And you need to stay in the present as well. That's another thing. Saying I will is always out there. And being anybody who's been through any form of addiction or any form of trauma where they've been stuck in life and haven't been moving forward, we tend to procrastinate and put things off and put things off and put things off. So using words like I will is just a form of procrastination. That procrastination is a fear, as we know, and it's a fear from stress because we don't want to be dealing with things that we have to be dealing with because, again, we're afraid to deal with them. So what you need to do is, rather than say I will, say I am. I am going to do that now. I'm not going to wait until tomorrow. I'm going to do it. So I will and I will. We always end up putting the thing off. And then you feel bad in yourself because you think, oh, there's another pile that I have to deal with someday. So saying I am and getting down and just doing it, don't even give it a second thought, just take action. And then visualizations, and these are very important in the sense that to try and see where you're going, or try and picture in your mind where you want to be. Now, I'm not talking about having a house or a mansion on a hill with a carport full of Ferraris. I'm just talking about the basic visualizations in yourself of how you want to see yourself kind of changed maybe in a month's time. What do you want to see yourself? How do you want to see yourself be in a month's time? How do you want to see yourself? How do you want to feel, think, see, act, etc. An example, losing weight. Say if you want to lose a few pounds in a month, visualize yourself as being that person who's lost those few pounds in that month. What are you going to look like? How are you going to feel? What's it going to be like to have lost those few pounds? Would you feel physically lighter? Yes, of course, you'd be healthier. You feel fitter. You feel happier. All of those kind of things. And it's to try and visualize that. And our visualizations, you can do them as many times in a day as you need. Keep it simple to start off with. Don't be, getting too big. And again, our minds can only really stay focused for a maximum of 30 seconds at a time. After that, they do start to drift, and it's very difficult to keep them that focus. It takes years and years of practice to do that. So just 30 seconds at a time, just kind of stop, turn off distractions, sit down, just visualize where it is you want to be in a month, 6 months, a year, or wherever it is. And do that as often as you need to in the day, and you will start to see things start to transpire. Changes do start to happen in yourself because you're focused, you're goal set. I use visualization, so you can test this yourself. If I'm driving into the town and I want a car park, and so what I do is I say, I'll visualize the car parking space that I want to go to. And 9 times out of 10, if I don't doubt it, I will find that car parking space. So I'll just sum this up. So we all have the ability to change, and let's change our core beliefs or challenge our core beliefs so we can change them around. That's the great thing. They're not written in stone. They can be shifted. It takes work, it takes time, it takes persistence, yes, but then everything else in life does. And you're worth it for yourself to do this for yourself. Recovery, self-belief is a necessity, hate that word, not a luxury. Main reason being is you need it. It's not something that you want or something out there. You need to believe in yourself to move forward. It's part of recovery. It's part of life. We need to believe in ourselves, because if we have no inner or no self-belief, how are we going to move forward? How are we going to progress? Positive thinking, as I say, leads to more positive feelings. Again, that leads to more positive thinking. Again, physical sensations are more positive. Behaviors are positive. So it has a knock-on effect or a snowball effect. Again, these in turn challenge those old core beliefs and replace them with positive new ones. So, you're replacing the old core belief with a new core belief. And in life, you've come this far, so as I say, why not continue for the rest of the way? Okay. Well, that's my bit there on that, and I hope I can help someone with that. I hope someone's got something out of it. If you have any questions or any queries or want to add something onto this, please comment on my comment below, or you can even leave a comment on my website, and I'll gladly try and answer. All right, well, thanks again for your time, and have a lovely day.